into our liberated, joyful, wise community, and to remind them that, as our hymn says, there is more love somewhere, and it's right here, and that it's reachable. And so most of Whitman's views, I think, are not surprising now. Everything that he talked about is kind of mainstream now. But what do we now feel is true that we are not yet putting out there, that yet needs to be done? What do we intuit? What do we know that is true, that has not yet arrived? And so what should we be broadcasting and singing about and sharing today? Well, just a little bit about him. He was born in Huntington, New York, one of 9 children, and he lived most of his life in the Brooklyn area. And so we can see that landscape appear in his work, and it's just sort of a vibrant energy at the heart of what America was becoming. His education stopped when he was 11 years old, but he must have crammed a lot into those few years because his first job was as a teacher in a one-room school. And he later worked as a journalist and as a printer for the Brooklyn Eagle. He never married or had children, and although it wasn't recognized back then or well understood, we know now from many clues in his writing that he was gay, and he was once prevented from getting a teaching job because he had been called a sodomite by a local preacher. And so his own feelings of being an outsider probably led him to have an affinity for the marginalized. He had strong ideas about women's rights, about immigration, about slavery. During the Civil War, he moved to Washington, D.C. to take care of his brother George, who had been a soldier for the Union. And so he wrote very compassionately about the fighting and about these many young men who had witnessed all these atrocities. He was a really big admirer of Abraham Lincoln. And the diversity of the American people and the celebration of democracy are constant themes of his. He never really attended any churches, so we can't call him a Unitarian because he showed up. But he did really admire Emerson, and Emerson's idea of the oversoul had become popular enough that it was ridiculed in the media. And the way important ideas initially are, they challenged the status quo. And so there was a cartoon going around during that time, and it was like an eyeball, a giant eyeball with a little top hat like they wore back in that day on little stilt legs, standing out in the middle of a field. And it sort of looked like an antique version of a Pixar minion is what I thought. But it just was the way of ridiculing this idea that, yes, we can soak it all in. It all comes into us. We are part of it all. And so Whitman, who was a journalist, would have seen this, and he would have loved that. And so we do now question things that others take for granted or accept willingly, and we reject standard theological formulations, right? We can be cutting-edge thinkers ahead of the time. We claim truths and insights and wisdom that's not widely understood. Our spirituality is tied to deeply held visceral feelings. We have big, big feelings, as well as to knowledge of science or objective observation, and to personal experience. And so Unitarians are often supporters of social change at the earliest stages of awareness. And so we'll be talking about issues sometimes decades or even a century before they gain wide acceptance. And despite our intellectualism, modern Unitarians are empathetic, we're compassionate, we recognize connectedness as an essential principle. But truly modern Unitarians could go further than this. What if we were more bold, ready to make ourselves known as we stand up and speak the truth in uncomfortable settings? What if we had patience and gentleness, not anger and frustration with conservatives, with those hearing our messages with confusion or even for the first time. And so I do consider voice to be one of the highest and most important qualities of a modern Unitarian. Whitman certainly did that back in his day when nobody was thinking like he did. And so I truly think we should not be running into people who say they have never heard of us. And you know that happens a lot. So. Modern Unitarians are also activists and strategists, not just thinkers and discussion leaders. They have a clear vision of where we're going in the church community, in the country, and in the world. And we live not just by hope, but in the certainty that there is a better world that we see. It's just not here yet. And so we're the vanguard of what a healed future, what a healed community should be. And we do see that attitude rising up in politics now as we go into the midterm season. People calling out corruption, refusing to acquiesce to authoritarianism or exclusion. People learning a different way of showing up for one another, ethically and compassionately, and very determined. And so modern Unitarians, though, are not self-satisfied or superior in what we know. We're just persistent in the pursuit of that world that ought to be. And so Whitman had that understanding that we are steeped in the sacred by virtue of our being and our daily lives. The holy wasn't something that was found in church or told in scriptures. He predicted there will soon be no more priests. Their work is done. They may wait a while, perhaps a generation or two, dropping off by degrees. A superior breed shall take their place. The gangs of cosmos and prophets shall take their place, and every man shall be his own priest. Yeah, he did say man because, it was 1855, so. But his understanding of the sacred applied to nature, to ecology, to sexuality, and to our understanding of what it means to be physically embodied, to have the sacredness be physically embodied, as well as to that great experience of American democracy. So he was very effusive, and he was very clear that our interconnectedness and our radical belonging to each other and to the world, which he referred to as the cosmos, in all of its messy conflict and diversity and strangeness, it's really just the most divine thing. And he understood that it wasn't just what we could see and experience now. It was the universe as a whole, and that this moment was connected to everything that had happened and would happen. And so he put the struggles of the current moment in the largest context possible. And so he wrote, "Swiftly arose and spread around me the peace and joy and knowledge that pass all the art and argument of the earth. And I know that the hand of God is the elder hand of my own, and I know that the Spirit of God is the elder brother of my own, and that a kelson of the creation is love." Because he was just so in love with everyone and everything, and he understood it metaphysically in a way that science validates now. He knew that each of us are, in fact, divine in precisely the way that a drop of water contains all the essence of the ocean. The title of his book, Leaves of Grass: I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars, and the ant is equally perfect, and a grain of sand, and the egg of a wren, and the tree toad is a shade-dove for the highest, is a masterpiece for the highest. And the running blackberry would adorn the parlors of heaven, and the narrowest hinge in my hand puts to scorn all machinery. So he really was the champion of beauty and creation and ecology. And his catalogs of items that you see in his work they move us and they hurt us now because we understand how amazing it all really is and how much we stand to lose. And so he was also the poet of the body. In his time, his work was called immoral because he spoke so frankly about sex, about touch, about relationships, including same-sex relationships, in a way that seems really obvious to us now. He says, I believe in the flesh and the appetites, seeing and hearing and feeling are miracles, and each part and tag of me is a miracle. Divine am I, inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch or am touched from. And so he really did encompass all of those big feelings, and he remembered those who were forgotten, those who were forbidden, marginalized, prostitutes, prisoners, immigrants, the disabled, the infirm, the elderly, runaway slaves, not just to see them, not just to celebrate them, but to become them himself, fully identifying with their being and their experience. He said, I go from bedside to bedside. I sleep close with the other sleepers, each in turn. And I dream in my dream all the dreams of the other dreamers. And I become the other dreamers. And so that's kind of what we do now when we attend to marginalized people and make their struggles our own. And so all of this he brought into his feelings about the nation itself, about democracy, a system which brought this philosophy of the self and the all into practice. And so Leaves of Grass was written at a time when the nation was extremely divided and was about to enter this war over economics and white supremacy. And he knew that it was an unfinished project and a spiritual project as well as a governmental experience. He was living in New York City, remember, and even then it was a melting pot, this teeming mecca of all classes, all races, all occupations and creeds. And so he paints the picture of all these people crowding and living and working together, a holy, beloved community. And he, the poet, is involved with each one, and he shows how the readers participate in that as well. And so he immerses us in this landscape with its city scenes, homes, dock sides, harbors, farms, America the great, America the beautiful, America the flawed. And so all of these things, spirituality, ecology, nature, sexuality, the body, democracy, the rejection of creeds, the affirmation of inner knowledge and compassion for others, he was singing about these things because he knew without a doubt that they were true. But as often happens with greatness in his own time, he was just this sketchy weirdo with some out-of-the-box ideas. And sometimes I think that is the way that we are thought of as well. But these are the standard views of a liberal perspective, right? So I'm asking you to consider, what more do we need to be putting out there in the world? What weird and wonderful and sketchy truths do we know, but hesitate yet to claim, to say that is how we should live, that is what our world should be? Because even the way that we are right now is being suppressed, but yet there's still further to go. We should not be quiet a moment longer. How do we move from what we know and what we say to what we are actually willing to do and to take on in order to repair the world? Well, this past summer, I attended the Houston area gathering of General Assembly, our national UU conference, and the theme for 2026 was Meet the Moment. And so we looked at what the future holds, at what we need to release, what we need to embrace, and how we can act together in a time of rapid change. Are you a modern Unitarian? We have internalized these ideas that took shape centuries ago. We have intellectual clarity that we are not separate beings, but self is tied to community and our hopes for going forward together. We have further to go. All around us is a level of self-interest, divisiveness, fear, suspicion. That stuff doesn't match up with our value of love at the center. Don't let the world keep you from living publicly and out loud. Don't shrink now. Don't keep our message of personal freedom and radical connection on the quiet. This is an exciting and exhilarating time for us if we embrace being the visionaries and the fighters and the risk takers that we are. But many of us, some of us a little bit introverted, would rather support the resistance than actually be in it. Yeah. But to be a modern Unitarian right now means it's time to be brave in outreach and showing up in the public square. It means to act and participate instead of just thinking about things. Modern Unitarians are not a club. We are building a faith that a younger, more diverse, more energized generation might actually want to join. And we're talking about real lives and real problems and not just ancient texts on Sunday mornings. Ashley Horan is the UUA Director for Programs and Ministries, and she lives in Minneapolis, just minutes away from where ICE killed 2 American citizens, protesting the treatment of immigrants. And she says, everybody has to take their shift for the revolution. And so modern Unitarians are ready to meet that moment. We feel charged to actually bring our vision of what our relationships and our democracy ought to be into reality. We are a small denomination, but we know what a compelling picture of a healed and liberated community looks like, and we are leading the journey there. So in the days to come, I encourage you to stay present for one another and keep a vision of what you know in your minds and hearts to be true, just like Whitman did in 1855, and spread that. Act that out every day and sing it joyfully into being. Amen.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Now it's time for us to appreciate the gifts that you can contribute to the ongoing operation of our church so that we can continue our works. If you're visiting with us for the first time, please know that your presence here is gift enough. We will now collect our offering.
I am the very model of a modern Unitarian, far broader than a Catholic, Jew, or Vegetarian. Know the world's religions, I can trace their old patriarchal, most Unitarian and categorical. Wow, these are a lot of words. I'm very well acquainted too with theories theological, existential questions I am wholly logical, and most are problems being of the lots of views. I'm full of fine ideas, and I should fill our church's empty pews. Chairs. I quote from Freud and Jung and all the psychological, I don't pollute, tastefully ecological, spiritual, ethical, material. I am the very model of today's religious liberal. I am the very model of today's religious liberal. I use the latest language. God is never Father or the Lord, but grounded being, source of life, or almost any other word. I never pray, I meditate. I'm leery about worshiping. I serve on 10 committees, none of which accomplish anything. I give to worthy causes. I drive gas conserving car. I give you principles, though I'm not sure what they are. I'm open to opinions of profound and broad variety, unless they are conservative or smack of religious piety. I formulate agendas and discuss them with the best of them. Don't ask me to implement them, leave that to the rest of them. One more verse. I'm sometimes vegetarian, agrarian, and contrarian. I am the very model of a modern Unitarian. I am sometimes vegetarian, agrarian, contrarian. I am the very model of a modern Unitarian.
That was terrific. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. Will you please join me in blessing our offering? This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. Okay, as always, as Unitarians, we have a lot of announcements this morning. The mission of Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church is to change lives and heal our world. There are many ways to join in this mission and help build a beloved community. As always, you'll find more information about these opportunities in Tuesday's email, the order of service insert, and our newsletter. Today, immediately after the service, join us for coffee and fellowship in Cockrell Hall. At 12:30, we'll continue the conversation over lunch at Barcena's Mexican Restaurant.
The order
Karen?
of service says Hunan Star.
Which is it?
Here, Arsena's lesson. Hunan Star.
Okay, Hunan Star, that's won the vote. Okay, Hunan Star, forget Barcenas. No Mexican food today. Then at 4 o'clock, our Buddhist meditation group meets here in the sanctuary. This Wednesday, Vespers begin at 6:30 right here in the sanctuary. Then at 7 o'clock, join us in Cockrell Hall for game night. Whether you love tabletop games or just want something fun to do, we have a closet full of games to share. We'll provide the games, teach you how to play, and enjoy a great evening together. Everyone aged 12 and up is welcome. This Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m., Cups has something special planned, a no drums allowed drum circle. Bring something from home that you can hit, shake, or strike, not a person, such as a pot, bucket, garbage can, or jar of rice. We'll use our unusual instruments to create rhythms together. Just remember, no actual drums allowed. Everyone is welcome. That's a hoot. The community garden potluck, there's still time to sign up for our annual community garden potluck. Bring a dish to share, celebrate the harvest, and hear from Master Gardener Nemo Jackson, who will offer practical tips and inspiration for gardeners of every experience level. Everyone is welcome for an afternoon of learning, laughter, and community. Jane, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, we have had this really fun time for several years now. We try to stay out of the garden in August. Come, you don't have to bring a dish to the potluck, but if you have one that you love, please bring it. We also have a raffle. People donate things related to the garden. The raffle, and you don't have to bring it in advance. You can bring it that day. And please have some good times with us.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. On Saturday, August 22nd, Terry?
Yeah, I have to just, this is a group that started within UU.
You want to come to the microphone, Terry? Well, it's a surprise. It's a surprise.
But this is great. There's a group called Green Faith, and First UU has been very active in it, and I've joined joined it to keep up with what's going on. They're holding a vigil. It should be fun. It's an hour. It's only a quarter of a mile walk and a quarter mile back, and they're going to do an art project. So if you're available and want to participate in a faith-based movement for the environment and peace, this is a good thing to do, and your attendance would be well appreciated. So.
Thanks. Thank you. I don't know if you can read that or not, but you will gather on the steps of Houston City Hall is where that is. But there'll be more information in the newsletter and in the weekly announcement. And then the last slide, I think, is about staying connected. There are always more opportunities to connect here than we can fit into these announcements. So to stay connected by email, please sign up on our website or the guest book that's just out there in the foyer. After the service today, please join us in Cockrell Hall for coffee, cake, and fellowship. If you're new to our church, you'll find Cockrell Hall in the east wing of the building, just down the hallway past most of the classrooms. We hope you'll stay with us and visit for a little while. That's a good time to meet some of our members and ask any questions you may have and just visit. So thank you very much. Are you going to close with our, okay.
Let's stand for our final hymn, number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Okay, these final words are from the Reverend Matthew Johnson. I say to you, go and be weird. Let your freak flag fly. Be who you are, be who you be, know what you know. Stop trying to be normal, because we're not. But long for more than this. Ask the important questions, conjure the future, write poetry and sing out loud. Be a place where people searching for others to be weird with can come. A place where our voices rise and where we love one another exactly as we are. Amen.
That was just great.
Okay. He's somebody that I went to school with in my seminary. He wrote a book about preaching, and so that comes out of one of his sermons. I think he preaches in Denver. I think he has a congregation in Denver.
I just wondered, the old church of the ministry was Matthew Johnson Boyd.
Okay, that's him. That's because he actually is divorced now. He's divorced now. I think that he and his wife had a hyphenated name at one time, and now he's just back to Matthew Johnson.
He left and went to Washington.
Okay, that's right. How about that?
He's from Seattle. Life's
Okay, you're right. Yeah, you do know him.
It was a great message. If somebody had asked you to give a title to it, what would you say?
I thought the title was okay. You're Unitarian. You don't like that title?
Say it again.
You don't like the title I gave?
There was no title on it.
Oh, to the sermon?
Yeah.
The very model of a modern Unitarian.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and sing it.
Yeah, the same as the song. Yes, okay, yes.
I wish I taught the other song that originally was going to do was How Do We Embrace Strange Weirdos? An uphill song, but it's about connecting with people.
Well, I would have reached out to you, but I didn't know, so.
We got to someday this time it would have been
Yeah, I think they looped John into the emails,
just like you said that.
okay, well, I like your song.
I told him about it.
See, I think
Scrabble potatoes. Hi, how are you?
gratitude.